Hi, everyone. So we're going to do part three of Betsy Ross and Paul Revere. And this is something of what I have said in multiple videos of an enigma of a Revere. And a Revere comes in a way unknown to be renowned to get a gone. And get a gone means in an accent to go away, to be at bay. So when I'm seeing Betsy Ross and the way that they're communicating, and I'm seeing such a juxtapose that it is an abnormal source to get it done, to absolutely get it done. So when we have it getting it done, and you can't even do a do, you can't even do a boo. So, during the Revolutionary War, and they had the issue with the ingestion of the pyrite, and then they had the issue with the arsenic in the tea, and then they had the issue with how solid they were with their magic. And then you couldn't do magic, and then you couldn't go down to the Civil War, and then you say that it had to do with spirits, and then you go into something that Bonnie and Clyde were kind of doing at that moment. You can't say, like, is there something connected to this degree? So let's see exactly what's going on. So I'm going to pull up my playing cards. We're going to do cartomancy. So basically, all you need to do is there was something of a moo. And when I see a moo, AMU, the Eight of Hearts says you must go about in a way unknown. So when you have this, you just can't do it enough. You can't do it enough. The King of Clubs comes in and says, no, go do a do. And this is how choppy these videos are going to be, because that's how it was between Salem witch trials. That's how it was with the Revolutionary War, and that's how it was with the Civil War, all the way into a little bit of the French and Indian War. That there was just no consistency of barrow. The Eight of Diamonds goes, you can't do a DUN. A DUN, like I remind you, is when a criminal goes and hunts and makes an innocent person a criminal on the basis of gain. The Eight of Spades says when you go about and you know them, then you must be them and do them, which is kind of like a magic trick to get away from everything. The 10 of clubs says they started acting like each other, and that's how they knew, because they remembered from lore and folklore and word of mouth of history that these things happened in other lifetimes. That is the 10 of clubs. This is also three of hearts. It usually came in a three, and when it came to three, it came in a hearth, and as they were cooking, they would tell the tales to the children, and which is what we know it as today. But the Queen of Clubs says there was always a halt stop when someone would come to the door. And when I see the King of Hearts, it says you can't do a done. You just can't do done. So I see mouth figures would come in and talk about it. So when they were done in to be a done, a DUN to a DUNN to a DUNE. You can't even believe how they would actually reform this person, because when someone has been done in, they need physical therapy, they need OT, occupational therapy, to speech therapy, to nursing care, medical care, because they have a hard time with all functionality, but they are of clear sound mind, and hopefully there was no infection at that time. So the 10 of spades says a consistency-based diet was given. The two of clubs says there's really little. So when you hear them say, even to the current day and tide, I really only need a lot of hydration, and I need just maybe 1 to 2 small meals a day. The four of diamonds says this goes against the grain and counterintuitive. So the six of diamonds says, no, they're so ingenious with creativity. And I say, no, it's not ingenious. Their IQ is off the charts almost immediately when it happens. They see everything, they hear everything, and then they actually start putting down due dates down to a millisecond. But they are imbalanced. They almost have to be matched up and paired with people on energy consistency to where if they're not, they'll be in solitude. So that was actually some of the things that they're starting to bring forward. So when the 10 of diamonds says, no, you must go a bust, no, a must, an MUS, that was their call to arms usually. The queen of diamonds, and I look at it, I know that's the queen of hearts. You must do a dust off on this one because this is awful, awful. The seven of spades says, no, there's no need for war. All forms of spelling. So when you go to it and you say, as it is written, it shall be done, look at the spelling. They literally started communicating by throwing energy, by thinking the same thoughts. And that is how that was. And sometimes they would just stare and scry while they're recovering because they were communicating that they would have these timeline jumps and they'd say, yep, I'm just going to go about. And then they would go and do something that they weren't supposed to. So it wasn't unheard of to have a residual affect matter of hearing sound of mediumship like we have in radio waves. So, when Betsy Ross says, no, I was communicating with Paul Revere and he's saying, no, I am communicating with the future. He's doing mediumship. The seven of diamonds says that is a conversion, a conversation of a confirmation. Triple C literally means it goes into a type of ritual of pagan ritual of earth of my bone to get it done. They're highly affected. These individuals were by moon cycles, astrological figures. And that's all you need to know. The King of Spades says you must go a bust. The Ace of Hearts says, no, you cannot do that. To the point of an aviator joker and say, I swear, they all say it, love comes in a tower moment. Three of Spades says, nope, that's enough. And they would challenge each other. They would challenge each other, even in mediumship, because they knew better and they knew best. Then they say, no, you got to hear it, you got to see it, you got to feel it. The seven of clubs goes, no, go to bust. And those were the type of conversations. But they would sit there and have a glance like that and say, no, I saw it coming. I really did. Maybe in a September of a 1 to 2. You just can't do a do on it. So let's look through the crystal quartz. So you can't even do a done. They were so futuristic that these people almost had handlers, control. They had people around them, consistent people, which is really hard in a time of war when they have consistent people. So they really were tricksters at times to have a pace and a gaze, to have everything done because they will see everything through so hard and so fast. So when, even today, a lot of people who are highly intuitive, they're like, no, 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 I got to get this done. When I look at the blue gate, it's so clear water that you can't even see the hammerhead coming of the shark to be done. So let's go to the light sayers tarot. See where else this has to go. So as they were communicating And what they're showing me really more now in visual is that it was a lot of mediumship, a lot of futuristic talk, a lot of residual affect that you had to say, did they get the wrong message? No, it was a term called a go a boat. And when they go a boat, it means they would actually mix things up to trick it out. So with a Ten of Swords in reverse, it says there was ill finality of relief at times to a lack of hasty fire starting, where they would say, no, they're not good at what they do. And that was the contentment order. That's the Nine of Cups. And that's highly confirmed with the Ace of Wands. These people, historical figures, had so much control where they looked like they were nothing. But until the end, it almost looked like grandiose thoughts. When I see that, it's still a lot of residual if today to have that. Highly, highly prudent. The Page of Pentacles, highly new offerings that are so grounded. And when it comes out like this near Pentacle season, it is hard pressed cold to the Ten of Cups of an absolute contented family member. You want this Cups energy with the Pentacle energy because it flows easier. Not so much with the Seven of Wands of being guarded in that bubble, like you see her sitting meditating in a bubble. So do you actually do the Chariot with a heart again, interruption through mediumship? So when you have that, you can't even do. So the Hermit in reverse is absolute isolation, highly difficult, Five of Cups. To illogic, I see this Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and I say it really is a contentment of a recluse. They would wig out. And then I see the 1700s to the court of law in the 1800s and say, yeah. So who actually started ushering more this energy, frequency energy through? And I'm seeing something of a connection to the Rosetta Stone. The Eight of Pentacles says no skilled work. You had no skilled work. It truly was absolute teamwork. The Three of Pentacles. The wheel shows you can't even complete it, but it is complete. It just doesn't see it. It doesn't feel it. It doesn't know it. And that's how it is every era. They can't see it. They can't feel it. So they put due dates on it. The Seven of Swords says that contentment order that was going through Betsy Ross's time to figure out what was true and what was not was a type of steel that she had to carry as part of balance of communication because there was something of toxic matriarchy that you couldn't get things done to absolute unhappiness. That was the ill rush of emotions, the Knight of Cups in reverse, to a type of imprisonment in a way unknown, where you could not reunite with something. That was the dirty dealings. Absolute trickery. So with that being said, the Two of Wands, the energy, is it a lack of foresight or is it not? It's not to be known. So with that being said, let's go to the Akashic Tarot. So I see it clearing the way and I see the garden. And when I see it in relativity to her, it means that contentment order came of a type of a selling of oneself that was still honorable, but still not the best of things when they had to be done. It's something of a giving away that they didn't like. I see an exchange of gifts to destabilize the architecture. Like when she's showing me the ground, she's showing me the golden grass, the burnt grass, the goldenrod, and like gifting each other. There was a type of architecture that they had to break down because she's showing me the fields, she's showing me the wagon, she's showing me the cannons, she's showing me her blade. She had to do a lot of cutting out of things where it looked like no wisdom, will, and like out of her mind. She was someone, when I see this King of Keys, she had someone with her. She's not, she just went like this and went, nope, you're not going to know who it was. It was not even a joke. The muse, it was not even a joke. Who is the one who actually takes care of these people even to this day? You're not to know it. So when you see this in the karmic trench, I see how the cannons were packed with the black powder, but I do see another type of explosive ordnance that would actually make the animals a little haywire. And she's making me do this movement, Betsy Ross. She's like, you can't even do like a circle, a hurricane. The Queen of Keys goes, it was very difficult to have female relationships as friends in reverse. The reflection says you couldn't even see yourself at times. Couldn't even see it. Hilarion means always, always documented those individuals, highly studied, highly revered, she said. Like I always had like court documents, as you said, court documents, legal documents about everything I said, down to the time I went out to do my business. So, lastly, for this, so this one is a little bit harder. It is a little bit harder, a little bit harder. And that's when she started noting pattern of behavior. The house was so solidified that you couldn't get it done. The bravery of this goes, you can't get it done. You can't get it done. They had no fear. She showed me Paul Revere had no fear. Her herself with Betsy Ross had no fear. You just literally had to get up in the middle of the night and start running. So as soon as in the middle of the night they had a vision to the absolute freedom of exile to I'm seeing somehow Exeter is a type of trickery. So when I see the noose and it's not literal, it really has to do with a containment of a type of ordinance, of a decree. When I see this wolf often with peacock comes out with cat. Justice would come out. It was symbolic when you start seeing animals and you start seeing birds, that there's something not right. And that's all she wants us to know. at this time. We're ending with creature's paw, which is like a type of she showed me creativity of trying to figure things out. So with that being said, that's all I have to say right now. We'll go into part 4 with Betsy Ross and Paul Revere and see what else is going on and finish that out. If any questions or concerns, go ahead and email me or send me a comment in the box. Talk to you soon.